Oh, look at all that lovely, lovely turquoise. It's not quite blue. It's not quite green. It's somewhere in between. No. And let's ruin all of that with a bunch of purple. Purples mixed with blacks to make darker purples. And purples mixed with turquoise to make turquoise. To blend in a bit with the turquoise. And then ruin it some more with a bunch of spray paint. Normally, I'd mask off the gym. I'd just trace some paper and cut it out and stick it down and mask him off and then paint the spray paint in just the background, and then the gym would be spray paint free. But I couldn't be fucked on this one, so I just flung the spray paint everywhere. I figured, I'm going to paint over it anyway, so I fucking paint over it anyway. Give a shit. Painting is Super Suit, which is white, but it doesn't look white, does it? It looks kind of greyish brown because I'm using like raw umber mixed with white. Typically in painting, it's not quote unquote proper to paint with white paint just straight up, which makes sense because then if you use white for like super duper highlights, it stands out from like white clothing or eyes or whatever. So rather than painting his suit white, I painted it like a greyish kind of colour, but then it'll look white, contrasts to the other bits, and then when you highlight it, it looks basically white. Blue for the gloves. This is Jim, by the way. He's an earthworm. This is another commission. It's actually from a long time ago, but this is me admitting to my faults, of which there are many. I forgot about it. I painted like a bunch of pictures of Earthworm Jim all around, like within a couple of weeks. Just a fucking bunch. And that one slipped through the cracks. I was very, very apologetic to the guy when he asked where the fuck it was. And I sat down and made myself paint this. And I'm really, really fucking happy with it. Did a sketch. I liked the sketch. Traced it up. Painted over it. Really happy with it. Got the blue on the gloves. Oh, wow. And then some really, really, really light blue on the fingertips. See, because he's holding out his laser gun, blaster gun. And it's going to be blasting his laser blaster gun. So the front bits are going to be aglow with the blast from the laser blasting blaster gun. So they should be highlighted. And then extra deets on the pouches and shit on his belt. I don't know if he even has... I don't think he has pouches on his belt, typically. But I put them on there because it's fun to draw. Mixing up the flesh tones. As usual, my sort of go-to white person flesh tone is burnt umber, yellow ochre, red and white, and you just mix them around until you get the sort of flesh kind of tone you're looking for. Throw some more brown in there if you want it to be more brown, and then it doesn't even need to be uniform, because even if there's a bit of red here, a bit of yellow there, flesh isn't uniform. It's all sorts of shitty, horrible colours, so sort of works to your benefit if you don't mix your flesh tones too proper. So there's a tip. Stop doing shit properly, and then fuck it works out for the best in the end. And then a bit more yellow and more white to make this bright highlight colour in the front of his face. Again, because he's got just the laser gun, got boom, pew in off, and brighten up on his face. More highlights on the blue bits on his belt and fingers and shit. I was really happy with the hands on this. I used reference. I pointed a gun at my camera and took a picture, and then see, because I got guns, because I'm a villain. I'm a villain and a criminal and a bandit. And I've got weapons you don't even know. Eyes and teeth. Raw umber and white for the eyes and the teeth, but a little bit of yellow ochre in the teeth just to differentiate them so slightly. Highlighting them up with white, and again, not making them too white. Red on the gun because the gun's red, orange on the front of the gun because it's lighting up from the blast of the gun. You get it. I felt like I should have done the orange a bit brighter, but whatever. highlighting that testicle on the front of his gun there. Now, what the fuck am I doing now? Taking a break, I guess. Oh, there we go. Some texture and paint, a bunch of shit in the planet or the orb or globe, whatever the fuck it is he's above or on or in front of or coming out of. Mixing some of the paint in with that greyish tone to blend his legs in with the planet a bit. So he is coming out of it. I don't know. It's just design, innit? It's just whatever. Underglow. We love an underglow. Reflected lighting. We love that. Just gives a bit more variety in colour. Adds to the form and the dynamism and shapes and shit. It just makes it look good if you put some of that reflected lighting on. So I've got some on the legs. That arm is the main thing. The sort of forearm and fingers is the main place I wanted to put that glow, because I knew that would give it a bit more depth or whatever. So I put quite a bit of effort into that part. The rest of it is just sort of like, yeah, on the legs, I guess, and a little bit on the head, just whatever. Just sort of gives it a little bit of something, doesn't it? What are we doing? A bit more orange on the. Still, I feel like it should have been brighter. Some orange to highlight the gun. A bit more to highlight the gun. Also just touching him up a bit. Just little details now, innit? Highlights and shit. Highlighting this, adding to that. A little bit of turquoise with green in his eye, just so it's a bit more green than the turquoise surrounding him. More highlights on the bulb on the front of the gun. And now we're on the outlines. All these are the fun bits. Definition, contrast, bits of shadows and shit, outlines, and oh, look at that. Oh, look how crisp it starts to look when you put on the. I've said in basically every video I've done lately how I do worry that I lean too heavily on the outlines and then end up overdoing it and putting too many outlines in, and it sort of almost covers up all the painting I've just spent hours doing. This piece was just over 2 hours full time. But I was really happy with. I held back so slightly with the outlines on this piece, and I was very, very happy with the result. I don't feel like I overdid it. I used them pretty much where necessary, but it's not like it's not covered in big chunky black outlines or whatever. It's just sort of more so in the foreground and in the hands and stuff. That's where it's needed, just to really show the details of the hands. And then little like creases and bumps and blobs and bits, shadows and shit. And ultimately sort of works, doesn't it? Blast from the laser blasting blaster. Wow, like that. It's some like starburst fucking muzzle flash or whatever going on. Yellow ochre as a base, and then we'll paint a lighter yellow on top of that. So you put down the yellow ochre first, just because if you paint a light yellow on top of anything, it looks shit. Painting with yellow is really awkward like that. And this is like a mid yellow. I think it's literally called mid yellow, and a lemon yellow, and some white, just to give a nice bright yellow. So yellow ochre is good. It's what I typically use as my yellow. But especially having painted the ball on the front of the gun with the yellow ochre, you need the contrast. So sometimes you need a yellow highlighted with a bunch of white and just like some hot spots here and there and the tip of the gun, and then using the whites for the whites. See, then this is why you don't use white to paint like the white suit and the eyes and shit, because then you use the white to paint all these highlights and it makes it look even better. Little blips and blobs, little dinks and dongs, just white bits here and there. That's basically it. Oh, and then there's a cow. Don't forget the cow, you bitch. We're painting a goddamn cow. Because there's cows in Earthworm Jim. You like launch them into space and shit. There's not much to it really. It's that same greyish brown raw umber and white tone. There is some blue in the black spots. I don't know if you can see them that clearly because of the, well, it's me putting them in because of the glare from the light, but they're in there, just a little bit extra sort of fucking tone and texture and shit. Some fleshy flesh colours on the udder and the nose. His big bulbous eyes getting the funny pupils in there, little details, and then that's pretty much it. There's cow in space. I always paint Jim in space. Well, not always, but I mean, I think most of Earthworm Jim takes place in space. I mean, everything on Earth takes place in space because we're in space, but I think space is like, because his suit comes from space, doesn't it? And he's got like a rocket ship thing, and he goes in space, and he like, a lot of the levels are in space. I don't know, but the painting looks fucking cool, doesn't it?